Hi everyone and welcome to my craft room. Hello to everyone who's joining me live, plus anyone who's watching on replay on YouTube or Facebook. I don't know, anyone who has watched my videos before realises that I have an Etsy store where I tend to sell a lot of my cards and earn a little bit of extra money to support my crafting habit. I've noticed an uplift the last little while for wedding cards. So I thought today I would make a couple of wedding cards to stock up the old Etsy store, and hopefully you will enjoy the designs too. They use current Stampin' Up products from the current catalogue, not to forget the current annual catalogue, and from the new mini catalogue. Just bear with me, I'm a bit distracted. I'm actually trying to get my computer to catch up. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry about that. It took me a little longer. My iPad has run out of juice, so I'm watching on my computer, which is always a little bit trickier. Trouble is I can't. Oh yes, I can. I can see your comments. Good morning, Jeannie. Good morning, Susan. And good morning, Sue. Thanks for joining me this morning. Anyway, so as I said, these are the two cards here I'm going to feature. I'm actually going to make a smaller version of this one. This has got 3 layers. I'm actually just going to make a smaller one with 2 layers, but the theory is the same. So anyway, so let's see how we go. I might start with this one here on the right. This is a cute little one. It's so quick and easy, but I think it's really beautiful. So obviously we've got a normal size card base, and we've got some pretty incredible embossing happening there as well, some beautiful embossing. So let's get started. Okay, so I've prepared the cardstock first, bear with me. So I have a crumb cake card base, normal size card base, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, and scored in the middle to make my normal A6 card base. I have a panel of Very Vanilla, which is cut to be, hopefully cut to be, which way is it? That way. No. It's cut to be 1/8 of an inch narrower, so 4 and, you know, it's not actually, it's too wide. Bear with me, I'm going to have to trim that. This was a complete accident. I didn't want to use it as an excuse to get my trimmer out, but you know, when you can use your trimmer, why not? So I'm just going to trim that down to 4 inches wide. So I should just be able to see a tiny edge come through that, around the edge of that. Also, I have another piece of crumb cake cardstock, and I've put this one already through the corrugated embossing folder with the Big Shot, with the die machine. So my tip for this is, when you use the corrugated embossing folder, leave your card longer than you anticipate, because obviously the corrugations sort of take a lot of your width away. So I've cut this one, I think I actually popped this through, I think this is about 4 and it's about 2 inches wide, and I think I left it at about 4.5 inches long. So I popped it through the corrugated embossing folder, and now I'm going to have to trim that down to my 4 inches, just so it matches my top base. I've got to remember where the 4 inches is. That's 3 inches, that's 4 inches, there we go. So there is a bit to trim down, but it has made it shorter putting it through the embossing. Oh, there goes the blend pen collapse. It has made it shorter putting it through the embossing folder. Okay, so now hopefully, if I've trimmed everything up correctly, we've got our vanilla, Very Vanilla, and our corrugated iron crumb cake at the same width, which we have. Cool. Okay, so I'm just checking, has anyone else joined us? Susan? Sorry guys, that's fine. Computer's not quite as easy as the iPad. Okay, so we've got these two parts now. So this top one, I'm going to pop this through our beautiful Parisian Beauty embossing folder, and I've just got a slight hint for you here. So I'm bringing, as much as I don't usually do it, I'm bringing the big shot into view. So if you get seasick, turn away now because everything's going to wobble, but I think this is worth showing you. So my big shot, obviously, I have the old style panel where you have these plates that you can pull out. But with the new style embossing folders, the new style Stampin' Up, which this Parisian Beauty is one of the new ones, doesn't quite fit through what I used to do. I used to take the top one out and then just put the embossing folder through with a plate. These new embossing folders are a slightly thinner design, so it doesn't quite go through. So I know Stampin' Up do sell a new plate for adapting the size of your embossing folders now, but I find it just as easy, and if you have bought it already then there's no need to buy anything new. This is the silicone matte, so it's actually the silicone matte from the old embossing plates that were sold before, but any old silicone, well, any silicone matte would do. And if you pop that on your bottom plate, and we pop our paper into our embossing folder. Sorry if this is getting out of focus, I'm getting very close here. Pop it into your embossing folder, and then on your silicone mat with a plate, it goes through perfectly well. So if you've got that silicone mat, there's really no need. You can sort of use it again to emboss the new style embossing folders. And there we go, that's perfect. So just a little hint there, so you don't have to spend a fortune just because we've changed the plates. If you've got that silicone mat, it works beautifully well. Okay, so there I've got my beautiful Parisian embossed panel there. So basically now it's just a matter of assembly. I'm trying to find my ribbon. I cut my ribbon the right size. I've got our beautiful gold trimmed very vanilla ribbon here, and I've just cut enough just so that it'll lap over the side of my very vanilla panel there. I might do that first. So I'll get the my double-sided tape, my tear and tape. I'll just pop a tiny bit, make sure I'm using the right edge, so it's actually that way. I hope you can see. I've got my camera in slightly a different position and I'm still struggling to see where it is. So pop some tear and tape right on the very bottom of there, and another little bit, oh, stuck to my finger, get another piece. Just another little piece of tear and tape, just enough to put your ribbon right down there. So this is on the back of our embossed panel. Oh, rip off the backing. And what we'll do is now take your, from the very edge, take your ribbon there and wrap it around. I'm going to actually put some tear and tape on the front just to keep it in place as well. Just across the front there. And now it's would have stuck to my paper. Yeah. So just along the front, right on the very edge of your, I hope you can see that, right on the very edge of your panel, and then just flip it around and seal it on the back. That piece really didn't want to stick, so pip it around. Probably should have cut that a little bit longer, but I'm being a bit stingy with my ribbon. Okay, so that's there. That's fine. So that's on the edge there. So really now we're just going to pop our corrugated iron panel on first. And I tend to use tear and tape with these really deeply embossed cardstock as well. Just so that you can get some, if you use glue, I tend to get a bit worried that it's going to get stuck in the grooves and not actually stick properly. So at least with a double-sided tape you know that you're going to get it to stick to those high parts of your embossing. So just take that there. Tear and tape's not behaving itself today. I hope everyone's had a lovely weekend. Hope everyone's weather is behaving themselves. Beautiful day here in Tassie, or southern Tassie anyway. Lovely and sunny and not too hot. It's been pretty hot. And us southern Tassie people aren't quite used to the heat. But it's been good today. Cool, so I've got that panel attached there. I'm going to do the same with my Parisian embossed panel. Just pop some tear and tape here and here. I've got one more tip to show you with the little sentiment box I'm going to use. And I think you'll probably find that quite useful too. I'll just get to that in a second. Okay, so we'll pop this one just over the top so it overlaps our corrugated iron one and matches the edges. So get it as close to matching the edges as you can so they look like a continuous line, and hopefully that's fine. Cool. Okay, so that's pretty much done. I hope you like that. Just watching the comments. Sorry guys, as I say, with the computer it's not quite as easy as with the iPad. Okay, so now we're just going to add our little sentiment box at the front, and this is I'm going to bring the big shot in again. So I just want a little scrap of Very Vanilla. I should have a million scraps here somewhere. There we go. And I'm going to use the sentiment out of the Parisian Blossoms stamp set. This is a beautiful stamp set. It's absolutely glorious. It's from the mini catalogue. It's just new. I'm going to use the Wishing You a Long Life Together Filled with Love and Promise on the front. I've already got it out. It's over here. So I'm going to do that in black. I haven't put my sticker on this one yet. It's so new. Pop that on just a piece of, just somewhere nice and central. There we go. And I want to use, and hopefully I haven't thrown it out. Here we go. Heaven knows you do sometimes. This is from the Painted Labels die set. It's a sentiment box, obviously. There we are. It's a beautiful shape. It's got some sort of scrolly edges there. But my way of thinking for this card, it's just slightly too long. It's leaving me too much blank space on either side. So I'm going to show you how you can use your dies and actually cut them down so that you get the right size just by putting them through your big shot twice. So I'm quite happy to have it, as you see on this side, that's the sort of the width I want. So I'm going to pop it through the big shot first of all in this position so that I get this nice end here with the nice spacing. Just bear with me, I'll bring it in again, get rid of the die, the embossing folder and the silicone mat. Bring in my plates. Hopefully nothing falls to the ground. Everything out of the way. Okay, big shot in again. As I say, if you get seasick, turn away now. Okay, I'm going to stand for this. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I'll pop that in view and just make sure it's in the right spot before I go further. Okay, cool. Right, so as I say, I want this to be a shorter panel than the actual die is. So I'm going to line it up with what I'm happy with on the right hand end there. So, and straight as I can. So I want it to be a bit shorter, as you can see. So I've left no space on that side. I'm going to pop it through once. Just trying to be as less jiggly as I possibly can. So there we've got it cut the first time there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through again, lining it up so you can actually feel, and you guys probably have to do this yourselves, you can feel when the die is in those beautiful grooves. So you know you've got it in the right spot. So you need to line up the grooves exactly with the first run through. I hope that makes sense. I wish you were here, you could feel it as well, but you can feel when it clicks into those grooves, so you know that's where you're going to have to pop it through again. So with the right width, the right length that I want, pop that in again, as I say, feel it that it's in the grooves. It would work as well with, say, the stitched embossing folders, because you can feel when it goes into the stitching and you know you're in the right place. Take it through again. You could even actually just take it through half, because you don't really have to send it through the whole amount. And there we are, see, we've cut off probably ½ an inch or so of that embossing folder, and it's nice, of that die, and it's a nice short little sentiment box now. I'll just pop that away and then we can use that. I just thought it was a little bit too long and covered over my ribbon too much, and I wanted to see as much of the ribbon as I possibly could. So that one there, I'm going to pop it up on some dimensionals. If I can find one that I'm using. Oops, I have to start a new one. Okay, so I'll start a new one. Oops. Just pop that up on dimensionals. There we are. Straight as I can. Not straight enough. Dimensionals are very, very sticky, but if you get to them pretty much straight away, you can fiddle them off. Once they've been on there for a while, they have a death grip that you're very lucky to be able to break. Okay, yep, that's pretty good. Okay, so there's the front of that card all fixed, all done. So I quite like that little sentiment box. It's sort of classy and elegant. So inside, obviously, I have a little panel for inside, which I'm just going to glue in. Bringing in the glue for the first time, if I can find some. There we go. And in the inside, I'm just going to pop a beautiful sentiment from the Blossoms, Forever Blossoms stamp set. Now this one's a bit of a meld of lots of different stamp sets. It's the Cherish Every Moment of This Day, and I'm going to pop it down the bottom there. I've got this real thing about putting my sentiments in unusual places at the moment. At the bottom, on the side, in the corner. Just makes things a little bit different. I'm going to pop this one down the bottom, and it's just long enough it goes all the way along. There we go. Okay, so that's the first card done. It's nice and simple, but I think very effective. You could put some bling on there as well, but honestly I don't really think it needs it. So hopefully you like that one. So let's get to the second card. Pop that aside. So there's the two there for my shop. Okay, the second one, as I said, is a slightly simpler version of this one. I'm going to put the dimensions for both of them on in the comments, so don't traumatise too much about the measurements. Fundamentally, I'll say this one is a 5 3/4 square card. That's a pretty big card, and it needs a 6x6 envelope. So I'm just a bit concerned that that's going to be a bit more expensive to post. So I'm going to scale it down a little bit. So for the big card, as I say, it's 5 3/4, and then you have your staggering, your 3 layers going in. So with the smaller card, I've gone 5 inches square with my base card, I think. Yep, 5 inches square with my base card. There we are. And I'm only going 2 layers rather than the 3. So I've got the base card is Mossy Meadow, and the others are Petal Pink and Whisper White, obviously. So I think they just go together, just meant to be. Cool. And I've also got an extra panel of Petal Pink and Whisper White for the inside as well, just to do something a bit special. Right, So as I say, don't bother worrying about the measurements. I'll put them all in the comments for after. Let's have a go. So basically what I'm going to do is a sort of a layered stamping card. So I've got a layer of Petal Pink and then a slightly smaller layer of Whisper White, and then coming down again another layer of Petal Pink and another slightly smaller of Whisper White. I'm going to be stamping on that and to give it a layered stamp effect. So what you do is basically grab your Whisper White, which is the one I'm going to be stamping on, pop the others aside for the moment, and with your, she says if she can find it, with just a tiny, tiny, tiny piece of snail adhesive, just in the middle of that one. So when I say tiny, I mean mega tiny, just enough to hold them in place, and pop the smaller one on top of the larger one, pretty much in the position, so even all the way around and square if you can. And so to do this one, I'm going to use the large Magnolia from the Good Morning Magnolia set, which is here's on there, this beautiful one here. Now the reason this came to mind, I have to share this, the reason this stamp set came to mind is because, let's face it, it is the most expensive stamp set in all of our catalogues at the moment. And a girlfriend who just joined up my team, who's a dear friend, who I met through Stampin' Up, just joined my team, and she got the joining offer. She wanted the joining offer, which is the wonderful little trimmer, which keeps coming up in my videos, even though I try not to. A sample pack of all the new papers from the mini catalogue, and the stamp set of your choice. And so when I said to her that was the joining offer, she said, yeah, but that's not going to include Good Morning Magnolia, is it? Because, you know, that's really expensive. There's got to be some fine print somewhere. And I said to her, well, I don't think so. I've had a bit of a look through all the joining offer stuff, and there's no, it just says of your choice. So she was a little bit skeptical, like that there was some fine print that I hadn't told her about. But sure enough, when she went and put her her starter kit in, she chose this one, and it allowed her to choose this one as the stamp set of her choice. So if you really love this one and you find the price a little bit exorbitant, get in contact with me, because I know a way you can get it for free. It's actually one of those ones that comes in 2 sets. So it's got this beautiful big thing here, big flower with some sentiments, and you get this one as well. So it's a part 1 and part 2. So that's why it's so expensive, but it can be yours for free. Anyway, so the big stamp, the big Magnolia stamp is so big, I actually have to use my Big Shot, my Stamparatus to stamp it. So I've got, as I say, I've got my 2 layers there. I'm going to position my piece of card here, and I just want the Magnolia to be off to one side and in the corner. I might take it off and position it. That's in the position for the big card there, so I might just reposition it for the smaller version. Just bear with me. Put my magnets on. So I want it down in this corner and overlapping both layers of cardstock. So that's probably where I want it. I'll stamp it up with some black ink. There we go. And it's going to overlap both of our layers. So some on the top one and some on the bottom one. Like so. I'm going to clean that up straight away because I don't want it to get ink everywhere. I'll put the lid on that. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the part of my Magnolia on the inner label, but I've got some of it showing on the outside level layer as well. So we can just pop that out and pop that away. Okay, so why I said to use a very, very small amount of snail adhesive is that if you twist and turn, you can separate up your 2 layers. I'm going to use blends to blend, and I'm only colouring the top layer. It's quite, makes it quite effective. It sort of really stands out. So we're only colouring the top layer. I'm going to use Petal Pink, of course. I'm going to use dark Petal Pink on the petals, I'm going to use, this is dark So Saffron, so that's going to be that little stameny part in the middle. I'm going to use light and dark Mossy Meadow for the leaves. So what I'm going to do is, with my dark Mossy Meadow, just going to, just bear with me for a minute, I'm just going to put in the shadows around the creases, around the veins, just the bits where the leaf would have some natural dark elements. And this is the good thing with blends, because you can do exactly as the name implies, you can then blend, which is really, really beautiful. If you can do it properly. A lot of people are a lot better at it than me, but to be honest, the stamps tell you where to blend because it naturally tells you where the shadows are in the stamp itself. You don't have to be overly artistic to produce wonderful results with Stampin' Up, and heaven knows I'm not particularly artistic, but I can follow instructions pretty darn well. Okay, so there's our veins of our leaf, and I'm going to bring in the light Mossy Meadow, which has got some glue stuck to it, and just colouring in those white spots. And so what you do is, with small circular motions, you actually blend in the light and the dark, so that the gap between them is blurred, and you get a beautiful light and dark effect. So just circular motions, bringing the light and the dark together. Apologies watching me. If you're watching later, just scroll through. I'm sure that watching me colour in is probably boring as. Just until you're happy with the overall effect, just keep that little circle motion happening. I find you can overdo it. If you do too much blending, it doesn't look like you've blended at all, because they just form the one colour. But if you keep it to not too much, you get a beautiful light and dark effect. So, as I say, there is no fine print. If you would love to join Stampin' Up and you love this, if you've always wanted to join Stampin' Up or rejoin Stampin' Up, and you love this Magnolia stamp, but you think it's a little bit expensive for your blood, you can get it for free as part of your starter kit. I've seen it happen. Okay, so I'll bring that up a little bit closer so you can see. Hopefully you can see that I've got a little bit of light and dark happening. We also have a colour lifter with the blends. This is what they call a colour lifter, and if there's parts in there that you want to bring really light, you just use a little bit of the colour lifter. Oh, it's gone mad. And basically it lifts the colour out, but for some reason that's dripped. That's a new one. I might not use that one. Anyway, I can fix that later. Just by putting some of the colour back on. There we go. Don't look at that one. Anyway, so you can use the colour lifter to bring the colour out even more. Cool. Okay, so Petal Pink. I'm just going to use dark Petal Pink, so don't worry. I'm not going to make you watch me blend. I just love the dark Petal Pink so much. And as I said, the stamp itself has light and dark in it already, so in a way it does the shading for you if you don't really want to. So just over the rest of the petals. Easy as. Grown up colouring in. Hi Chrissy Ann, hey May, thanks for joining me. Sorry if you've been on for a while and I haven't acknowledged. It's a case of glasses on, glasses off around here. I craft with my glasses off, and I have to put them on to see the computer, so a matter of doing, I can only do one thing at a time. I suppose we're all a little bit like that when we get to a certain age. The vision changes a little bit. I've noticed I've got a little bit of leaf there as well on the side, so I better bring the green in. slightly different positioning to the first card. Okay, so that's done. A little bit disappointed there it's gone over the edge, but that's fine. I'll keep going. I'll move on with it. Okay, so what we do now, we've got that one coloured, and as I said, we've left the larger layer uncoloured. We bring in our panels of Petal Pink, and we layer them up. I'm going to use my snail adhesive since I've got it out, and it's so lovely and quick. Just layer these up. Just try and be as accurate as you can, because with the snail adhesive you don't get that beautiful wiggle time that we do with our glue, which is my favourite glue. But you've got to say, snail adhesive is very quick. Okay, and instant drying, so we'll layer that up as well. There we go. And I'll pop two of them together. So make sure you line up your stamp. So if you're trying to put things on the wrong way, be guided by where the stamp is, so that you get that beautiful continued effect from one layer to the next. So line those up. You can line up, you'll see the edges of the flower do sort of match each other a little bit. Line them up as straight as you can and as even, which we always try. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to then pop this one onto our card base. I haven't done the sentiment yet, I will in a minute. I'll put this onto our card base. Okay, and we'll stamp our sentiment. There is a really nice, where did I put it? Congratulations. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen it. This is the beginner stampers version of the Magnolia, the Good Morning Magnolia suite. This is the one that came with the beginners stamp set, and it's got a really nice congratulations on there, which I must have out because it's not in there. Where did I put it? Oh gosh, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Sorry guys, I thought it was so organised. I can't see the block. Eek. I hate this. Anyway, it's here somewhere, and it's a really nice congratulations, which is the one I've used on this card here. And the block is eluding me. I had it all blocked up and ready to go. Oh well. So what I'm going to do is get that congratulations, and I'm going to pop it here. I'm also going to get some of the really lovely, which I know I've got here somewhere, really lovely rhinestones from the Parisian Beauty bundle. I'm going to just add some bling to our card. I'm still looking around for that stamp. Desk isn't that dirty today. Anyway, forging on. So I'm going to add some of the beautiful rhinestones. As you can see, I've been using them a lot. Usually get a packet of embellishments and then have them hanging around forever and ever. But these I've just been using and using and using. I'm going to pop a big one down here. With a little one just nestled just next to it. Here. And I'll put another little one up in here. There we go. I'm going to have my sentiment there when I can find it. And inside I've got another panel of, it says, oh Lord, got another panel of, here they are, another panel of Petal Pink and a slightly smaller petal of Whisper White. So I'm going to layer that up and bring in the layered effect from the outside into the inside, which I think is pretty special. Usually my insides are fairly plain. I'm doing something a bit special with this one. So just bring that there. So again, we've got the border around that one. And this one. And I'm going to bring in that same sentiment that I used on the front of our first card. Already got it blocked up. Put that one there. And going to just got a little bit of glue there, just rub that off. Forgive the juggling. A little bit of a glue mark there, so I'll just use my eraser to bring that off. Anyway, so I'm going to bring this one back in, the wishing you a life together, a long life together with love and promise. I don't remember then. I'm just going to pop that down in the corner again. There we go. Yeah, wishing you a long life together filled with love and promise. What else would you like? Okay, so that's that one done. So that's another one for the store. So that's a smaller one, as I say. This one's going to fit into a probably 14 centimetre square envelope, whereas this big one with the extra layer needed the 16 centimetre square or sort of 6-inch envelope to get into. So that's a smaller one. If you use your imagination and there'd be a sentiment there, and there will be eventually. But that's it. So that's the two cards I wanted to show you today. So we're using a mix of old or current and new products. Our beautiful Magnolia, Good Morning Magnolia stamp set here, and some beautiful embossing folders on this one from the current mini catalogue. Anyway, so hopefully you enjoyed those. As I say, there is a fair few weddings happening in my world at the moment, so hopefully you've got lots of happy occasions you could use these for. Wouldn't have to be wedding. I mean, it could be engagement, could be bridal shower, you know, anything like that. They're just so versatile. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. I've really got to try and find that stamp now. I hope you enjoyed my cards today. I hope you'll give them a go. If you would like any questions, if you've got any questions about Stampin' Up or the products you've seen in this video, please drop me a message via Facebook or YouTube, and I'm happy to give you a call to let you know. So as I say, there's some great offers at the moment, great joining offers, great buying offers. Celebration is currently on, and that is one of the most exciting times of the year with Stampin' Up. So if you would like details about that, please just drop me a line. I'm happy to chat to anyone. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you guys later. Have a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you all next week. Okay, bye.